Hey guys, welcome to the level 3 course. We're pushing on pretty far now. You're on quite a late part in the course. We're almost towards the end of the level 3 course. And if you've made it this far, congratulations, because you've made it to quite a high standard of learning and of playing. And I hope you've enjoyed the course so far and learned a lot from it. This is one of the little secrets that I discovered when I was learning guitar quite a long time ago, and I teach it to all my students, and it saves people so much time and so much heartache and pain. And for more experienced guitarists, it can be a moment of realization where they realize you could have wasted quite a lot of time learning something that you didn't need to. It's all about opening up the fretboard so that you can use the shapes that we've learnt so far, like the open position chords and a couple of these 7th chords that we've learnt here, which are also open position chords, and start making them movable up and down the fretboard. Rather than actually learning different bar chords and trying to think of them as their own chord, what I'm going to show you is that you can take the shapes that we've already learned, make them a movable shape, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute, and you can actually, for every shape you learn, it will actually be 12 different chords that you can create from it, and it's very easy to work out which chord is which. So let's get started then. The open position chord that we're going to do this with as a demonstration purpose is the minor 7th chord, because it was a very easy one to play. If we line up on the E minor 7th chord that we learned in the previous part, it will look and sound something like this. Okay, now the first stage of this realization here is to make the shape movable. If you imagine that the nut here on the guitar, this little bar that's going across here, is acting like a capo would, or like a finger would when you bar over the 6 strings. It's creating a point at which the strings then vibrate along the length of the guitar. So we need to make our shape movable, and we need to create effectively our own nut here. The way we do that is with barring a chord. So if we shift this single note that we're fretting 1 fret, so it's now on the 3rd fret on the A string there, we want to create a bar chord. So we're going to have to shift all the open notes that were open strings. Also, we're going to have to shift them up 1 fret, and that way the relationship between this note and the rest of the guitar all shifts together at the same point. Now, in order to do that, you've probably been playing it with the 2nd finger here. To create movable shapes, you might need to readjust the fingering that you've learned for the chord, and that's the only thing that you'll need to build on in order to create what we're going to be working on now. So you place the 2nd finger, you move it up 1 fret, you're going to create a bar chord. Now I would shift to using a 3rd finger, or even a 4th, depending on the size of your hand. 3rd finger is probably the strongest. And you're going to create a bar chord, very similar to the F major chord, across all 6 strings. Now this chord in itself is quite a difficult bar chord, but it's no more difficult than the F major. So if you spent some time in the previous levels working on F major and you've used it in some songs, you should find this okay. If not, go back to those lessons on the F major chord and look up how we worked out how to create the best bar chord. You want to be using the side of your finger here so that the knuckles are actually pressing against the 6 strings, and then the 3rd finger lightly touching on that 3rd fret. Now what we've done is we've made an open position chord a movable shape by introducing a bar chord and changing the fingering. The only little bit of theory that you now need to know is the root note of the chord, which was an E. If we move everything up 1 fret, then we move the note 1 along the musical alphabet. And if you've been following the course, which I hope you have, you should know your musical alphabet and the order of sharps and flats. So from E, if we move up 1 fret, it's going to become an F. And because we were playing a minor 7th chord, it's going to be an F minor 7th chord. Now comes the easy bit. Now that you've got the theory out of the way, you now have one shape that you can use to create 12 different chords. There was the E minor 7th, you move up 1 fret, and it's the F minor 7th. You move up 1 fret again, and with your knowledge of theory, you should know it's an F sharp, and it's going to be a minor 7th again. G, G sharp, all of these are minor 7ths, A minor, A sharp, B, Remember, there's no sharp or flat between B and C, you should know this. C minor 7th, D, sorry, C sharp, D, D sharp, and then E minor 7th again. That was 12 different chords, from E all the way through to D sharp, and then when you get to the 12th fret, it becomes an E minor 7th chord again. So if you see an E minor 7th chord in a chord chart now, you know that you can use that shape, and all you've got to do is move the root note up until you land on the note that you need to get to. So if you were to play a C sharp minor 7th chord, what fret would you need to play that shape on? Post a comment if you're on the YouTube, or put a comment on the website if you're watching this on the website, and let me know. Make sure you know what fret C sharp minor 7th would be. That is all the theory out of the way in terms of unlocking the fretboard. The consequence of this knowledge is going to really help you learn a lot in a very short space of time. If we now look at some of the other 7th shapes that we've covered, and then look at making them movable and shifting them up the fretboard, you'll see how with a little bit of knowledge you'll actually know a hell of a lot about the guitar. So the next one was a major 7th chord. We looked at it as a major 7th chord like this, and the root note was an A. Now you should already pick up that the A is on the 5th string here, the open A string, because you should know your open strings. If not, you should be following the course. Now we need to make it movable. So your first finger is already on the fretboard, but you're going to have to get rid of it so that you can make a bar chord. So we're going to have to shift the fingers around, and like I said, this is the only thing you need to be able to do, is to shift and know what fingers to place. Now for the major 7th chord, we're going to use this new fingering. 3rd finger is on the 2nd fret on the D string. The 2nd finger is going to be on the 1st fret where your 1st finger was, which is on the G string. Then finally you've got your B string, which is going to be your 4th finger now, so that we can make a movable chord. So we've got 2nd, 3rd, 4th. We shift them all up 1 fret, and then we create a 5-string bar chord with this hand. What we've done is we've had a major 7th chord, a major 7th chord, we've shifted 1 up in the musical alphabet. So from A, we're now on an A sharp major 7th chord. Now these bar chords are very difficult for the first time out there, so for you guys on the level 3 course, if you've been following me from the start, I just want you to work on the E minor 7th chord and this A major 7th chord, and practice shifting it up along the fretboard. And slowly you'll be building strength in the hand. Remember, follow the tips in the F major chord section on level 2 and level 3, sorry, and that will help you with getting 5 and 6 string bar chords really nailed. And I know it's going to be difficult out there, but you can do it. All it takes is good technique with the 1st finger, making sure that you're using the knuckle to get over the 6 strings, making sure you're not too far away from the fretboard, and making sure that your fingering is on the tips so that you're not muting any of the notes. So we just did an A sharp major 7th chord there. You can then shift up and go through your musical alphabet. B major 7, C major 7, C sharp major 7, D major 7, D sharp, E, F, remember between E and F, no sharp, F sharp, G, G sharp, and then you're back at the 12th fret on A. So there you go, with one shape, one major 7th shape, you can now play 12 different major 7th shapes. So when you see a chord that says something like D major 7th, you will now have a shape, and with that little bit of theory there, you can then shift up to the correct part of the guitar and play a major 7th chord. Now in level 4, this is the end of level 3 now, with this idea of creating movable shapes from your chords. We're going to do a roundup in the next part, so we're going to, consolidate all your information and make sure that you get it and that you know what you need to practice. In level 4, we're going to be looking at more on these shapes, movable shapes, looking at a system called the cage system. I'm going to be explaining what that means and how we can use it for guitars. We're also going to be looking at new scales, improvisation, some rock techniques that are used in modern playing, and give you a general overview of everything that you need to learn. So by the end of level 4, you will be ready to head into the world of music with a pretty good bucket of tools to use to learn pretty much anything. And then you'll be ready for my intermediate courses as well, and advanced courses. So guys, I hope the movable shapes, you've got 2 movable shapes there, you've got E minor 7 and you've got A major 7 shape. Practice getting those chords sounding really sweet, moving them up the fretboards for the E and the A chord, and that will set you up pretty well for level 4. So in the next part we're just going to round up all of your knowledge. I hope this has been useful. I hope you head over to the website and you sign up, because it's totally free and you guys will be supporting more lessons like this for you in the future. So until the next part, I'll see you guys later.